Looch on Ice, we break it down each week. Puck drops hard, hear the fans all scream. From the highlight reels, we catch every peak. In the fast lane, we live the hockey dream. Stick handling magic, every move's a skill. Looch on Ice, we got the weekly scoop. From power plays to the hardest hits in the loop. Join the ride, feel that action, no excuse. NHL roundup with a hockey news crew. Goals and assists, the numbers never lie. From golden gloves to the rivalries that fly. On ice battles, real grit and we pride. With Looch on the mic, we rise to the sky. Every play's electric, they give us a thrill. Looch on Ice, we got the weekly scoop. From power plays to the hardest hits in the loop. On the ride, feel that action, no excuse. NHL roundup with a hockey news crew. The numbers never lie. From golden gloves to the rivalries that fly. On ice battles, real grit and we pride. With Looch on the mic, we rise to the sky. Every play's electric, they give us a thrill. Looch on Ice, we got the weekly scoop. From power plays to the hardest hits in the loop. Join the ride, feel that action, no excuse. NHL roundup with a hockey news crew. So lace up tight, let's roll with the fight. Looch on Ice, hockey vibes feeling right.
And we are back.
What's up, Looch?
Episode number 2. What's going on, Jeff Cuylle? 111 hockey.
Living the dream, baby. Like every day, living the dream. You know?
I hear you, man.
I got to get me one of those Rangers hats, get in uniform, you know?
Yeah. I figured let me throw it on tonight and celebrate a little bit with the, the little bit of turning that we're getting here, hopefully. We'll get right into the Rangers, man.
4 goals.
Yeah.
10 in 4 periods. What's going on here, Looch?
They're not at home though, so but we'll be happy with it though, definitely. You know
I guess Trocheck was that important, huh?
I know. Tell me about it. Yeah, what was it?
And he's got they scored 10 goals in 4 periods.
So we had. I'm gonna go back a little bit with the Islander game on Saturday. We lost to the Islanders 5-0. They got shut out. That was a home game, correct? I'm pretty sure that was a home game.
Yes, of course. Got shut out. Of course it was.
Yeah, exactly. and then what was it? Monday night we play the Predators and take the Predators. I mean, you can't say too much about that, but hey, listen, it was 6-3. We had 6 goals, so I'm happy about that one with the Predators.
I think I saw a stat and I didn't follow up on it, and I may not be right about this, but I heard the Rangers have already set a record for the most shutouts at home in a season.
Yeah,
they play 6 games shut out. They've already set a record. I mean, come on. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think it was the first 3 home games they were shut out to start the season off.
Speaking of the Predators, last offseason when they signed Stamkos and they traded for or signed Marchessault, they were the big winners, according to the media, of the offseason. And I said at the time, all these moves are going to blow up in their face. When was the last time a team that won the offseason by signing a bunch of old guys ever worked? It looked like the Rangers in the past, right?
Right.
There's no way this was going to work. And sure enough, here we are a year and a half later. It's a disaster. So I just wanted to add that in. But anyway,
we're going to get it. We'll get into the Predators a little bit. We'll just touch on them. Since the Rangers played them, and that'll be our West Coast talk for a couple minutes.
Okay.
On the Predators. Yeah, so a couple guys heating up hopefully for the Rangers. Like you said, Trocheck coming back. I think little fire under their behinds. It's definitely a nice add to the team. It definitely makes the lines look 100% better. I mean, geez, you look at the lines now, it's like, wow, They bumped Cuylle down, I think, to the third line, which makes that line a ton better. Just think when Rempe comes back, that fourth line, we got kind of like 4 halfway decent lines. I'm not saying Rempe's, the superstar, but I'd like him on that fourth line, and he brings a little presence, and that's a great fourth line. Carrick,
yeah, it does. It really does.
Carrick can put the puck in the net for them, and Rempe, I think, should just plant himself in front of the net and become the new Kreider. You know what I mean? Who knows?
A line like that, if nothing else, they wear down the other team because they're so big, right? And they can be relentless. And look, I don't, whether Trocheck is that important or not. He obviously is, because this is the way they planned it, right? Their lines are sort of smoothed out. They got a top 6 that could, produce. Laffy's picked up. I sent you that blog post to read about Laffy. On that same site is another one talking about how good Meek has been this year, how he's been the Rangers' best forward. And, I don't know if you read Blue Slate blogs. They're hit or miss, but they're very much into analytics. And they were, Meek's biggest critic last year. And they're talking about how good he's been. So, hopefully that'll carry forward. Hopefully now with the right coach, like we talked about last week, maybe it's that they're adjusting to Sullivan and his system, and as they adjust and they get better, they'll get better. So hopefully that's what's happening, and we'll see. I don't know.
Right.
The only thing about them this year is they've been shut out at home and they've been inconsistent.
Yeah. I joked a little bit about Lafrenière. I'm like, he's on a heater now. He got 1 goal. I think he got 1 goal and 2 apples or 2 assists the other night against the Predators. I'm like, hey, maybe it's a new. He's turning over a new leaf, and we're going to see a new Lafrenière. How we've been kind of waiting on him, and number 1 pick, and just hopefully he starts to see, sees the back of the net tonight. Like you said, he had 1 goal. He's got 1 goal so far. I'll take it. 2 games in a row.
I think that we have to start tempering our expectations on Laffy, right? He's not a generational player. I didn't think he ever was. I think the Rangers hype machine tried to hype him that way when he was the first overall pick, but I never saw him that way. He wasn't Bedard. He's not Celebrini. He's certainly not McDavid. Nobody is, but he's not Patrick Kane. I thought, he could have been, 90, 100-point guy, a good forward, a top 6, an all-star. Maybe he can still be that. But I think everybody's got to temper their expectations a little bit. Maybe even that was a little much. Maybe I overrated him a little bit myself. I don't know. But he's been very, very good the last couple of games. Tonight he scored. In that blog post I sent you, it also pointed out that even though he didn't get an assist on Gavrilov's goal, he got in front of that and screened the goalie like Kreider used to. He made a hit in center ice or that loosened up a puck that led to another goal. He created time and space that he had no assist on. So, maybe he's coming along. Maybe he's going to be that guy. We don't know. He's been very, very good the last couple of games. Let's hope, knock on wood, he keeps it going.
Yeah, I think Steven, I had Steven put up, I don't know if Steven's, there we go.
Here's Trocheck, now Perreault. Lafrenière moving in, score!
Great hands.
Yeah.
Now,
that was Laffy's goal. That was a nice goal too.
As simple as that looks, people don't realize that, especially at the NHL level, how hard it is to take a pass on your backhand like that, full speed, come in tight, and have the moves to open up the goalie and just slip it through his 5-hole. It looks simple, it looks easy, but it's not. And that's what separates him from maybe, like an Ottman or a Cuylle. Like, he could do stuff that certain guys can't do. He needs to show it more. Hopefully he will, but that was a really nice goal.
Right. Oh yeah. Through the 5-hole. That was beauty.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then we had Perreault. Rangers called up Perreault, which was a nice add to the team, I think. I mean, see what he's got. And
he had an assist the other night.
Sullivan threw him on the first line. How about that? That's great.
Well, you know what? If you're going to bring him up and you're not going to play him in the top 6, then don't bring him up. You know? They've done that too many times with players. That you put a high school guy in a bottom 6 or role and he's miscast, and then he doesn't develop. Either play him in the top 6 or send him to the minors. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Perot.
in that blog post, I don't want to keep citing it, but what they were talking about is for the first time in his career, Laffy has a real coach who has a vested interest in his success and knows how to develop a player like him. So hopefully with him and Perot under Sullivan, they're going to turn out to be the type of players we expected them to be. Unlike Kakko, who I believe Gallant ruined, but and LaFollette, finished off, but that's a story for another day.
Right. No, I like what Sully's doing with the team. I like a lot of the stuff he's been doing. He's throwing, like I go back to Rempe again, and he was throwing Rempe on the power play a couple times, and I'm like, what is he doing out there? I'm like, okay, that's cool. Throw him out there. What the hell, man? Give him, get his confidence up a little bit. Throw him out there.
Going back to the Mike Keenan days when he used to throw Mike Hartman out there every once in a while, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Another thing about, speaking of Kakko, I saw a headline today in The Athletic. I haven't had a chance to read it, but the headline says, Will Borgen has given the Rangers the defensive breakout they banked on. I've liked Borgen since they signed him or traded for him. I think he was an upgrade and he's played well. And I guess under, I was hoping he played even better under Sullivan. And like I said, I didn't get a chance to read the story yet, but apparently, it's being noticed that he's playing really well. So hopefully he'll continue that too.
You said Will Borgen, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. I was looking on my phone right before we came on. The Rangers got that fourth goal, or was it the third goal or the fourth goal? Fourth goal. Will Borgen. Yeah.
Hopefully,
nice
I wasn't in favor of trading Kakko. I thought they gave up on him. But if Borgen is the player that he's been the last year and this year and continues forward, then he's the type of, then it's not a bad trade, but we'll see. Like anything else. I think Sullivan makes a difference in that, personally.
Yeah. And then we got Noah Laba on that third line. He's been a nice surprise for the team. He's a hustler. He's not afraid to muck it up a little bit, and he could put the puck in the net. So, like I said, that top 3 lines are looking really good, and I like that fourth line as a little bit of an enforcer line, and then with Carrick putting the puck in the net, and
Lab is going to get better and better. He's already highly developed as a defensive forward coming out of college. His offense seems to be getting better and better, and as the years go on, he's going to become a very, very good two-way forward in a top 6 role, maybe even better than that. Who knows? But he's going to be a stud for a long time, in my opinion. Him, Cuylle, Laffy, Perot, those are guys you could build around. The fourth line with Rempe and Edstrom and maybe some of the other guys in the minors, they're going to have a good nucleus,
Yeah, Will Cuyle's one of my favorites on the team.
He's just a terrific hockey player.
He is. Yeah,
he's in front.
He's starting. Yeah, he's puts the puck in the net when he needs to, and him and JT. I like that little setup that they got. Tonight I don't know if they're putting. They got Perot. I think maybe still in. I'm not sure if Perot's in the lineup tonight or not, but I like JT Miller and I like Cuylle together, but I think Cooley's. I think they bumped Cuylle to the third line. Either that's tonight or that was the other night.
Well, he scored a power play goal tonight, so they had him on the power play.
Right.
Do you know Will Cuylle led the league in hits last year?
Really?
Yeah. A Rangers leading the league in hits. Go figure. But yeah, led the league in hits. And now he's adding the goal. Well, he added the goal scoring last year. I'm pretty sure, barring some injury or something, he's going to become a 35, 40 goal scorer, or at least a 30 goal scorer. Maybe not quite Kreider, but a poor man's Chris Kreider. But like that. Different type of player. He's bigger, maybe not as fast, but he's going to be a net front presence, and he's going to get a lot of goals, I think, personally. It was a great pick, second round.
Yeah, without a doubt. We need a little bit more of this in the Rangers. No quit in New York.
Maybe that's what my hat will say when I get it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so good stuff from the Rangers. I think they had today's Wednesday. I think they got another. I'm not sure when they play next.
Probably Florida, because usually when they go down there, they play both places, right?
Yeah, Tampa, and then, yeah,
Who's
right.
in net tonight? Because they've given up 3 goals. Is it
Shesterkin and then
it is Shesterkin?
Vasilevsky.
3 goals for him. That's a lot. But
Yeah,
hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully they'll tighten it up and score a couple more and come out of there with 2 points.
Right. Yeah, speaking of goalies, I'm going to just jump over to real quick. We had Boston and Toronto the other night. Boston with Pasternak scoring his 400th. I think it was the 400th goal for Pasternak. And they had a little celebration there. And then with Stolarz, Toronto, my man Stolarz, I'm a big fan of
Stolarz.
Big fan of Anthony Stolarz. You know, he's a New Jersey guy, and he got hurt, I think, in the second period, and he's out.
Again?
Yeah, he's out. He had an upper body injury, so
poor guy.
Yeah, and Wall hasn't. I don't think Wall has played yet since he's been back, but I think he was. I don't know who they're going to be. If they're going to have a third string or what.
What does it matter with them? Wall or the third string. You know,
they're going to have to put a. They're going to have to put a Wall in front of the net.
You know, what sucks for Stolarz is, you know, he finally got his shot last year to be a number one goalie. He was playing great, and he's doing well in the playoffs. And then he gets hurt, you know, and he could, you know, on that, you know, he got run by what's his name, the Florida big Monahan, right? Monahan,
right? Okay,
right?
From Florida, you're saying?
What's that?
From Florida, you're saying?
Yeah, Monahan. Right?
I think Bennett hit him. Well, last year,
I always mix those two guys up. Yeah, Bennett, his buddy Bennett. And Bennett says it was accidental. But he seems to have a lot of those accidental run-ins with goalies, but. You know, Stolarz wasn't mad about it, but you felt for him because this was his opportunity, you know, and maybe he's the difference, and he carries them through that series with Florida, and maybe they go to a finals or they go deeper in the playoffs, and you know, and all of a sudden now he's, you know, he's a number one goalie and with you know, a pedigree and a history, and you know, he has the opportunity, and then he gets hurt, and now he's hurt again. You feel for the guy, you know, you just hope he can get into playoffs, play well, be healthy, and see what he could do.
Right.
Because he was starting to show it last year, and then the injury, you know, kind of knocked him back a little bit. Speaking of Boston, I was reading today that, you know, Morgan Geekie, you know, scored his 10th goal last night, and they were talking about him in terms of Pasternak and comparing him. Morgan Geekie was picked up on the waiver wire by Boston. Signed for nothing. He was cut by the Kraken, and they picked him up, and here he is. He had like, 40 goals last year or something like that. He's got 10 already this year. And they got him for nothing. Nothing, just off the waiver wire. So he was a 3rd-round pick, wasn't thought very highly of, and here he is now. He's going to be, you know, he's a goal scorer in the NHL. So go figure.
Right. Nice.
That's the Rangers can find one of those waiver pickups.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
Back in the day, they found a few. Ray Shepard, remember that? Or Grodnick, Walt Podubny, you know. Yeah. None of those guys were Hall of Famers, but they gave him a couple of years. Pierre LaRouche, they picked off the scrap heap in the 80s. You remember Pierre LaRouche?
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite players. He actually made me become kind of pushed me into being a Ranger fan way back in the day. When I went to see the Rangers and the Devils at the old Brendan Byrne Arena, I was down in the bottom because, you know, down in the hallway there, my brother used to work at the Brendan Byrne Arena back in the day. He was doing an intern with his college, which I'm actually wearing the shirt right now, Uppsala Hockey.
Is that right?
That's back in the day. But I was down in the hallway, and Pierre LaRouche, I had my brother's New Jersey Devils jacket on because I kind of wanted to fit in. You know, I was a young kid. I don't even, it was like 10 or whatever, 10, 12 years old. But Pierre LaRouche saw my jacket, and he had a piece of rolled up tape, and he shot it at me. And he's like, what are you doing wearing that jacket? As a kid, I'm like, who was this guy? You know, like, and I thought about it, and then like my brothers were Ranger fans, and everybody was Ranger fans, and I'm like, I gotta like the Rangers, and it was, come to find out, it was, you know, Pierre LaRouche later on. I'm like thinking to myself, this guy, you know,
shoots 48 goals one year for the Rangers,
and he gave me a puck too, so I was and as a kid, I was like, okay. I gotta like this team. I like the guy. I like the team, and he was just one of my favorite players growing up. So was,
I don't know if he did you a favor,
yeah.
or or like tortured you for life, right? You might have been better off being a devil.
Yeah, being in the area, that would have been, being in the area down, where I'm at in Jersey. It's tough being a Ranger fan
Yeah,
sometimes.
especially
That's
being
for
around Jimmy
sure.
Dowd and company, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Plus, it's hard. We've won one cup in our life. It's hard, It's really hard being a Ranger fan, but you know what? That's what makes it so much fun, right? If it was easy, it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. 94, and we had the 1940. We're tired of hearing that. But sooner or later, we're going to start hearing 94.
Yeah. Well, it's what? So it was 54 years when they finally won. It has now been it's been 32 years. We're creeping up on that 54 again.
Yeah. Let's hope not.
What's something about that 94 chant is it rang perfectly, right? It couldn't have been 1947 or 56, Like you can't chant 1983 chanting at the Islanders doesn't sound very good,
Yeah.
Although we started it after we won the cup, the fans started chanting that in 94 after we won it. A couple of minutes afterwards, 1983 chant started. It just doesn't flow like 94, So, and the Islanders are now at 43 years without a Stanley Cup.
Wow.
Think about that. The Devils are now at what? 2003 was the last one they won. The Devils are at 23 now or something like that. It's hard.
It is. It's definitely tough. There's a lot of teams in that West Division's real good,
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of good teams.
If you can imagine, the Montreal Canadiens won a cup every year when we were kids, right? Every couple of years. They've gone 33 years without a cup. The Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
Seem to win them even when they didn't win them 4 or 5 in a row and they were on a dynasty, a couple of years, they always won one. 86, they won one. In 93, they won one. They haven't won one since 93.
Right. Montreal's, and you're talking about Montreal. Montreal's up at the top of the Atlantic. So that's a nice little surprise with Suzuki and Caulfield on that team.
And Lane Hudson.
Lane Hudson. Yeah, definitely.
Second round pick
on that defense.
That, everybody passed on despite putting up big numbers for the national development team and in college. They passed on him because he was small. And you know what? Like, he's dynamic, Listen,
right.
Size is important, but when you're that dynamic, right, and you can produce like that, size doesn't matter,
Right.
And, he's proven that. What a great pick in the second round.
Sure.
And like you said, Caulfield's another one who was small that people, he set a record for goals scored in the U.S. National Development Program. Goal Caulfield, they called him, because he was just a pure goal scorer. Nice. And, he dropped to the mid-first round. Montreal took him, and he's done nothing but succeed. They got the other kid they took first overall, Slabosky, or however you say him. He's a stud, coming a stud. Right. Gordon's done a great job there, just like he did with the Rangers. And, we talked about that last week. We won't beat a dead horse, but he's done a good job. Yeah,
Caulfield, when he changed his number to 13, he became one of my favorite players in the NHL. You know why that is, when he changed his number to 13.
Yeah.
I won't say it because every time I say it, AJ brings up that, you don't know, every show you're bringing this guy's name up.
No, you bring it up. I don't care. I want to hear it. Bring it up. For those who haven't heard, tell them who it is.
That's Gaudreau, man.
Johnny G.
Our man, Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Hockey. I still got to get one of.
Said Gary. Sorry.
I still got to get one of his shirts. I'm in the process of maybe buying one of his USA shirts with Gaudreau. I'm not a big fan of having names on the back, but for Johnny, I'll do it. Gaudreau and number 13 and USA. What better jersey can you have than that? You know what I mean?
I can't say that I knew Johnny Gaudreau at all. I did see him around the rinks a couple of times in the summer, and anybody I talked to just talked about what a great guy he was. And when I got a text one morning, Gaudreau died. From a friend. I thought it was his dad. I said, his dad? And then I Googled it. I was like, oh my God, what a terrible story,
Right.
Horrible.
Oh yeah.
And, they were just in the news the other day because the driver, tried to get his statements thrown out and the judge denied it, And that guy should just plead guilty now, get the best deal he can and put everybody out of their misery because, it's just, he's not getting off. He deserves to go to jail. And hopefully, for his own family's sake, he'll see some light at the end of the day and be able to do something with his life. But he deserves to go to jail for a long
Yeah.
time for what he did, and it's horrible, horrible story.
Yeah, it definitely is, without a doubt. And two of them, it's crazy how it happened.
Who do you grieve?
Just crazy. Yeah, right. I know. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I got to see. It was nice because I felt like I had a little connection with Johnny Gaudreau because I did watch him when he was a real young kid.
Oh, you did?
Out at Hollydale. My nephew was the same age as him, and my nephew was actually playing at Hollydale. So Guy would be teaching all of the kids how to skate. Guy was that's Johnny Gaudreau's father, as you probably know. But he was teaching a lot of the skating classes out there, and I used to be like, "Who's this guy, Guy? Who's this guy, Guy?" And then I saw his kid, and I'm just like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "This kid is like a phenomenal skater." Like as just a young kid, just zipping around the ice. I mean, he stood out back then at whatever 9, 10 years old at that time, and he was just zipping around the ice. I'm like, "Wow, this kid's good." And then I got to see him a few times. My nephew played against them. He also played against them then in high school when Johnny was at Gloucester Catholic. We went up to the Rock. I watched Johnny Gaudreau score a beautiful goal. It was in the state championship. I'm not 100.
Right.
Yeah, with Gloucester Catholic. I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "This kid's going to be a freaking." He was a phenomenal player already. He was starting to make waves right there. After that, I saw him. I was just like, "Man, this kid's going somewhere." And I think I even posted stuff on Facebook. And then I look back, and I'm like, "Yeah, I knew it back then." You could just see it. Like certain kids just stand out. I mean, as a young kid, sometimes you can stand out, but then other kids catch up to you. And then all of a sudden, I see him in high school at Gloucester Catholic, and I'm like, this kid's still standing out. I'm like, he's going somewhere. And then he went to the USA program, Boston College or University. I get them mixed up.
Boston College. Again, the guy was too small. Right.
Right.
A couple of good stories about that. I read Craig Button, who was with the Flames when they drafted him. They liked him so much, right? Like so much that they didn't talk to him. They didn't interview him. They didn't want anybody to get notice or get wind of how much they liked him because they thought, he had fallen under the radar, and they didn't want anybody to, say, "Hey, wait a minute, let's look at this kid," and tip anybody off. So they never talked to him. Gaudreau found out he was drafted. He was playing in a tournament in Hollydale. He was on the ice, and the buzz started going around the crowd, and they started yelling to him, "Hey, Johnny, you just got drafted." Right. He was stunned. He didn't expect, had no idea it was coming. And the Flames did that purposefully because they really thought they had a diamond in the rough. And, but Button talks about how he wanted to draft him higher. He didn't want to take the chance. But after the 4th round, they said, we can't take any more chances. And they drafted him. They really thought they had something in there. And they did. And we know what happened from there. So, But again, too small. Yeah. Right? And look at, he wanted to have a great career. Right. Would have been a Hall of Famer probably if he didn't.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
The tragedy.
They should even think about that, consider it. Hobie Baker Award winner too.
That's right.
And I think he, if I'm not mistaken, I think he made the All-Star team the first year I think it was by default. Somebody got hurt, and then they put him in. Which, how can you?
I remember the first time I really saw him was in 2000. What year was it? It was the World Cup of Hockey. What's that? 2012 or whatever. Anyway, my son was young, and we went up to the maybe it was 2014, and he was on the North American team with Dick Davis. It was all rookies and all youngsters, and he was dynamic,
Right.
And he stood out. Trocheck was on that team, and I'm like, who's this guy? Never heard of him. Then my son told me who he was, and but he stood out, Johnny. He was really, and it's a shame. It really is. It's a tragedy,
Definitely.
And his brother too. We don't want to overshadow his brother, who is also a terrific hockey player. Had just been named coach of Gloucester Catholic. He was going to be or some high school. I think it was Gloucester. And
it was
coach.
Yes,
followed his dad's footsteps, but terrible story.
Number 21. That was number 21, Matthew Gaudreau.
Played at BC like his brother. He had a great career.
Yeah.
Terrible story. So
sure is. I still got the hockey sticks on my front porch for the both of them.
do you really?
You know, yeah. I left them out there. I'm like, you know what? I was going to take it down after the year, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm leaving them for a little while longer. The heck with it, you know.
Unfortunately, we've had too many hockey sticks out over the years. There was the kid in Connecticut who, got hurt on the ice and his neck got cut.
Right.
They were the junior players up in Canada. We've had too many. There's a kid who we played with in 06 who committed suicide a couple of years ago. His family started the Shoulder Check, which is I don't know if you heard about it, but it's a charity game every summer with pro players in Connecticut to raise money for mental health awareness. So we've had too many sticks out there, and hopefully, unfortunately, life being the way it is probably not the last, but we could pray that it is.
Sure, 100%. I hear you. We're gonna take a break there, Stephen. We'll then when we come, I'm talking to the other guy that's not on screen right now. If he's there, we're gonna go to a quick break. Hopefully.
Hi, I'm Joe B, founder of Joe B's 100% natural free-range bee pollen, and I want you to feel great. $99 gets you a 6-month supply, and this 7th month is absolutely free. The shipping is free. Joe B's is bee pollen, simple natural nutrition loaded with natural vitamins and minerals. There's only one place to get Joe B's, and that's from me, Joe B. What are you waiting for? You will love my Joe B's, and if you don't, then I will gladly refund your money, no questions asked.
Welcome to Rebet, the first of its kind free-to-play social sports book.
Let's put some money on the game tonight.
I can't. I'm broke.
We'll just use the coins.
Coins?
Use Rebet coins for a free and fun betting experience while gaining in-app status. And for the betting enthusiasts, use our sweepstakes model to redeem real money rewards with Rebet Cash.
So New York to cover the spread?
They're minus 10, bro. It's a lot.
For those who might not get the lingo, use our easy-to-read lines to bet like a pro. And for those with a competitive friendship,
Dallas is going to crush Philly tonight.
Man, put your money where your mouth is.
All right, bet.
compete directly against your friends through our peer-to-peer betting feature. Bet on over 60 major sports leagues with Rebet's dynamic social sportsbook, featuring more than 3,000 diverse betting markets for an unparalleled experience. And with our social feed, you can share your bets with your friends. See a pick you like? Double down with a click of a button. This is Rebet. Welcome to sports betting made social. Legal in 47 states.
I like that song. A little Phil Collins, Genesis.
Yeah.
Genesis,
Yeah,
right?
today, right?
Yeah. What is in the air tonight?
Go in the 80s.
Yeah.
Rangers.
Yeah. So you brought up the Predators, and we'll just touch on them real quick. What better team for the Rangers to go against? To get that W. But the Predators are just the struggling team in the West. You'd think that they would be a better team, just like with the players that they have. I mean, they are a little bit older. I was a big fan of Marchessault when he was on Vegas. O'Reilly, they got on that team, so it's just like there's some really good names on that team, but they're just struggling in that West. It's like, I thought the Rangers were going to be, I was a little worried. I'm like saying to myself, are the Rangers going to be the new Predators here? I'm like, please, with all these names on the team, Zibanejad and Panarin, I'm like, are they falling into the Predators trap? I'm like, they can't be. It just, and the Predators to be just struggling like they are, it's ridiculous. You know, I don't know.
As we touched on earlier, I take a different point of view. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
Really what they are is like the old Rangers in the early 2000s, right? You're throwing together, or the late 90s, you're throwing together a bunch of names, right, that have never played together and aren't necessarily, a fit for each other, right? And this is what you get. Listen, Marchessault has always been a good player, right? But he's on the smaller side, and he played really well because he always had a center to open up space for him,
Right.
So just throwing him with another team doesn't necessarily work. Stamkos, you can see, was declining. And here's the other thing. You're taking a guy like Steve Stamkos, who spent his whole career in Tampa, right? Was the guy, the captain, the whole bit. Everything revolved around him, And now you're taking him out of that, and you're dropping him into something completely new. This happens all the time with players, right? It's completely foreign to them, everything, and they don't necessarily produce like they could. That's the other thing. O'Reilly, I've always been a big Ryan O'Reilly fan, but he's kind of miscast on that team. He's getting older. And then you had like the Brady Shea signing was ridiculous, giving him all that money.
Right.
The chemistry's not there. So I'm not surprised. By the way, Marchessault was a Ranger property at one time, right?
Yeah, I thought so. I was thinking about that the other night. I'm like, this guy was something. He had something to do with the Rangers too. Did he end up playing a couple games or anything?
I don't know if he ever made it, but he signed as an undrafted free agent.
Right.
He had a very good year in Hartford, and then they just whatever. I think they lost him in the he was a free agent, so they lost him, and then he went to Florida. He excelled, and the rest is history. When you take a bunch of 30-year-old guys and you try and throw them together, it very rarely works. And
Right.
and the goalie, Saros, I'm not sure if he was in net against the Rangers the other night, but he was awful.
Saros. Yeah.
He was terrible. Some of those goals were like,
He wasn't goal, and I think they yanked him.
he should have been yanked. He was terrible.
Yeah. What was it, 6-3? So I think
I'm not
after the
surprised,
third
though.
or fourth goal, they usually yank the goalie to try to change the momentum if it ever works. But good thing it didn't work.
I'm not surprised, though. I'm really not. And at some point they're going to start. They talked about trading Marchessault last year to get something back for him because I think he could still be effective. Stamkos is going to be impossible to trade. He makes too much money. O'Reilly, I think, would have some value. I don't know how his salary is anymore, but they're a long way from being a contender. And they should have taken Hagens in the draft because they've never had a dynamic young forward like that, and they passed on him. I forgot who they took, but they should have taken him too. But they passed on him, and now Boston has him. So we'll see how he does.
Right. Yeah. So a good game last night we had was also in the West was the Colorado Avalanche and Anaheim Mighty. Or I was almost going to say Mighty Ducks.
Do the same thing. Yep.
The Anaheim Ducks. I know we had mentioned the Ducks last week, and the Ducks, went headfirst into the Colorado Avalanche. So they met their match last night. That was if I'm not mistaken, 4-1. The Avs ended up winning.
That game featured the two leading scorers in the NHL, Nathan and Leo Carlson.
Right.
32 and 26 points respectively. Yeah. I know you're a big Anaheim fan, and I don't blame you. They added some good young talent. They got Kreides doing it. It's nice to be an Anaheim Duck fan right now. You got a lot of hope for the future, and those players come along. I think Gauthier is second or leading the league in goals, I think.
Who's that?
Cutter.
Gauthier.
Yeah. He's sixth in the league in goals with looks like 11. McKinnon leads it. Bo Horvath of the Islanders second. Cole Caulfield, who we talked about, Shant, the ageless wonder, and then Carlson, and then Codier.
Yep. Good stuff from that team. And then I'm a Colorado, not a big Colorado fan, but I'm a Colorado fan. I like the makeup of their team, and I talked about Nichushkin a lot. He has some issues from time to time. He goes, whatever he's got going on. I'm not 100% sure what he's got going on. He goes into the player program, and last night Nichushkin gets hurt, So he's out for a little bit. I do have him on my fantasy league. I've been doing the fantasy the last couple of years. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It takes
How's
up
it
a lot
going
of,
so far? How's your season going?
Not too bad. I'm right in the middle somewhere, so I'm good with that. There's a couple guys that play in the league, and they've been doing it for 10 plus years, and this is year 3 for me, and I'm just kind of figuring stuff out. And it's a lot of work. It's almost an everyday thing, just checking it and making sure your guys aren't out, and and I'm seeing how much work it is, and I'm going, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I went and joined 2 other leagues.
It'll come together at some point.
Whatever. It's all good. But like I said, that Avs and Ducks game, two number 1 teams. One's in the Central and one's in the Pacific. So both 2 really, really good teams. 2 different types of teams. You got that Ducks team that's got those young kids on it. They even got that 18-year-old kid on that second line there. That second line is, I just love that second line for some reason. Cutter Gauthier and I keep forgetting that one, the 18-year-old. Well, McTavish and the other kid, the 18-year-old Seneca. Seneca, yep. And then they got Lacombe, who's another good young kid on the defense.
Yep.
And as we know, Kreider and Trouba. Trouba's been playing phenomenal with them. It's ridiculous. When I pulled up some stats.
The way Trouba was treated in New York was awful. The fans were awful to him. It was unwarranted. It was unnecessary. And a typical Ranger fans, they had to have a whipping boy, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, 16 games. He's got 4 goals, 7 assists, and he's a plus 16. It's crazy.
Plus 16?
It's plus 16. And then I'm looking back, and I'm like, in 69 games, he didn't even. I think he had 4 goals with the Rangers in 69
because they
games.
didn't use him. He was Lavallette's system. He was miscast in it.
Right.
And then the abuse he took from the fans was ridiculous. He wasn't a bad player. I just whatever. It's typical Ranger fans. They don't know what they're doing, and then they pick a whipping boy, and he was the whipping boy, and he was better than they gave him credit for, and then look what he's doing out there.
Right.
How many times have we talked about this? How many defensemen have the Rangers gotten rid of, or the fans run out of here, and they go somewhere else, and they're studs? And watch Trouba make the All-Star team. Watch,
Yeah, right.
Jackasses,
Exactly. Yeah, you were talking about the young guns scoring. We got a couple other young kids that are, what's his name? Connor Bedard's starting to turn it on, and Celebrini. Celebrini. That's another good young team over there in San Jose. I like a lot of those kids on that team. What was it, William Eklund? And then you got Will Smith.
Dickinson.
They're
Will Smith,
right.
Misa. They're going to be coming. I read today that Celebrini and Bedard have been so good. They're now in the mix for Team Canada's Olympic team, where they weren't before this. So now they're being considered for the Olympic team. That's how well they're playing. I doubt, at the end of the day, I don't think they'll make it because they'll go with the veterans, but they're in the mix now because they're playing so well. And good for them. Good for them.
Right. Yeah, they're at the top of the list for goal scorers. I put a little list together for the kids that are under 21.
I see that.
It was. It changed a little bit since I sent it to you, but I did update it this morning, I think it was, or this afternoon. Gauthier with 11, like we said. Leo Carlson with 11. He's a 20-year-old kid with the Ducks. Celebrini's got 10 as a 19-year-old kid with the Sharks.
I think they're all against the Rangers in one game too.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then even I got Bedard with 9. As a 20-year-old with the Chicago Blackhawks, as we know. And then Logan Cooley, too. He's got 8 goals and is 20-year-old with the Utah Mammoth.
Awesome.
I love it. I like watching these young kids come up, through the ranks. And, it's good to see. And, I kind of, as the young kids are coming up, I even like, when I start watching the college stuff and I start watching the high school stuff, I like to focus a little bit on the New Jersey guys because they're local. You know what I mean? It's only I guess normal to like the local kids and to celebrate them a little bit and hope that they make it to the big leagues. To the big team. So I was saying to myself, is this going to be a terrible year with the Rangers? So I started watching some college games that are on TV, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to record a couple games and check out some hockey games. But on Saturday, what was it? Saturday, I think it was, the Yale and Quinnipiac played.
Yeah.
I think it was opening game for Yale, and Yale ended up winning 4-2. I think it was their first 17 game losing streak that they had going. Yale couldn't beat Quinnipiac, and they ended up winning. And we had a nice goal from David Chen. I think if Stevens.
With Chen takes a hit and the puck loose on the goal line. Here's Chen, a backhander. He scores! David Chen, the captain, gives Yale a lead in the final 4 minutes of play. Wow!
Well, we mentioned it earlier. When David Chen's in the lineup, he usually scores. They're hoping he can have a healthy senior season. Well, here's game number 2. 3:39 on the clock in a tie game. Turnover, and he just puts the move on Silverstein. What a sick backhand shot, too.
He put his head on a swivel. First the turnover on the goal line, tic-tac with his forehand to the backhand, and then he roofed it to give Yale a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, that was David Chen.
Silky mitts is a great way to put it. That was silky smooth for sure.
Yeah, he was. That was the goal number 3 for Yale. He ended up winning the game 4-2, and he's a senior there. We also have another kid that's on the team. Last year, I went to watch Yale out in Princeton, so I'm hoping to get to Yale Princeton again this year. As we know, 1994 team, Mike Richter's son, Will Richter, is on that team also. So I'm a little excited to go back out there and check out Yale and Princeton game. I think that's going to be coming up in February. Probably be picking up tickets for that game soon, and hope to get out there and watch that Princeton team.
Quinnipiac has 3 local kids. Chris Pelosi, who talked about Hollydale before, great player, great kid from Hollydale. Charlie Letty, who played for Mid-Fairfield over in Stamford, and Eaton Wittenbach, who played for the Long Island Gulls, is from Long Island. And there's a couple more on the way, like Jack Genovese, who plays in the Nile right now, local kid from New York City. And here's a great story about Quinnipiac. A kid by the name of Nathan Beanstalk, who played for the Rockets and Hillsborough. We played against him in the playoffs. He was the New Jersey High School Hockey Player of the Year. So there was a story on Beanstalk. By the way, great kid, great father, great family. When he was a kid, before he even started playing hockey, he saw Quinnipiac playing on the TV, and he said to his dad, "I'm going to play for them someday." They had no connection to Quinnipiac, none, right? Had not even played hockey really yet. Turns out, kid comes a hockey player, becomes a very good hockey player, and where's he going to play college next year? Quinnipiac.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, great story. Nice. Great kid too. Listen, I went to see Yale for my brother took me and my son for my birthday about 10 years ago to the Hobie on campus in Princeton to see the we played a Yale Princeton game.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice.
Great atmosphere. I'd go anytime. Anytime.
Yeah, that's basically what I did last year. It was Yale Quinnipiac. I went there. I checked out the Hobie Baker and looking for that trophy, and it's kind of a cool trophy to see. The real deal there. They got it on display in one of the cases there, and that's the top collegiate hockey player in colleges. But anyway, Princeton. I like a couple kids on that Princeton team. There's also a kid from New Jersey on the Princeton team, Pat Riley.
I know Pat. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm hoping to meet his father, and a friend of mine is actually friends with Pat Riley, so I want to
CBA
meet
kid.
Yeah. So he's
And Titan. He was a Titan when he was a mite and a squirt.
and he also played for Christian Brothers Academy, CBA. So
Yeah, CBA. Yep.
I was
Player-
surprised to hear that.
Another Jersey high school hockey player of the year. There's also several other kids from New Jersey who are going to be going to Princeton. Christian Chua, Max Pendy, what's his name? Ryan Wachtel will all be there next year, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I see a couple names here. I looked at. Well, I got Pat Riley. I got Kai Greaves, who is is the brother of Jet Greaves from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jet Greaves is the goalie from the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I guess his younger brother. I'm assuming that Kai Greaves is gonna be playing for them. He's a sophomore at Princeton. So, I like to see those kids that you kind of have a little, the names are familiar. Joshua Carnish, this is another New Jersey kid, junior. Chris Reiniger, he's a freshman. And then there's two other freshmen, Dan Moore. These are all New Jersey kids, Dan Moore and Grayson Pullman. So
we'll have to go check them out one night.
Looking forward to them. Yeah, definitely seeing those kids. I'm going to probably go to a few Princeton games this year. I'll pick a few, maybe two. Definitely going to be going to that Yale Princeton game. And then I think there was a game on Saturday this week, but I'm not going to be able to make that game. I got some other stuff going on.
And to anybody out there who doesn't know, on the Princeton plays at the Hobie Baker Arena, which is on campus. It's an old school barn. It's great. It's a great place to watch a hockey game. You should go just for the atmosphere if you haven't been to check it out, because it's a great place to see a hockey game.
Yeah, 100%.
5-3 lead. Crowcheck scored.
Oh, wow, nice. Yeah, I got the game on right here, but it looks like it's in between periods. Yeah, that Hobie Baker rink, just don't bring a lot of friends because there's not a lot of seating there.
Yeah, it's true, but it's a great place. Great place.
Yeah. And that top, I don't know if you've ever been up at the top of that. Those stands there, they're not the best to be looking, to be sitting up there unless you're a little higher. We actually want it to be a little bit lower. I thought it would be nicer to be closer. I was with my wife. I said, let's go up to the top. We'll check it out, see what the view's like from up top. Being an old rink, they probably weren't, thinking about all of that stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
And to have the capacity. I guess some colleges don't get a whole lot of people, but that top view up there, it's not the greatest view, and they're not the most comfortable seats up top, as most arenas. Yes, without a doubt, it's definitely a rink that you have to go to, experience it at least once, or with me, I'm going to experience it more than once. I've been there probably 2 or 3 times already. And I think they did some work there, I want to say, in the off season. So I'm curious to see what they did. We'll have to look into that and maybe talk about that if we end up at a game, or one of us ends up at a game there.
They've been saying for 10 years they're going to build a new rink on campus down by the river with updated facilities, because they want to compete at Division I level. They're going to have to upgrade, but I don't know why they haven't done it to this point.
Right.
But they're going to have to, upgrade the facilities if they ever want to compete again for national championship or Frozen Fours like they have in the past.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Yale Princeton game that I went to, you'd think it would have been packed, and I ended up buying tickets, and like, oh God, am I going to be able to get in this place? Because I knew how small it was, and I'm just saying to myself, am I going to miss out on tickets? So I bought them ahead of time. But as they get better, and like you said, if they get more fans, you're going to have to get tickets ahead of time and make sure that you're definitely get in there. But
for sure,
what a great rink to be at,
sure.
play at, and we'll have to get out there and check out some of them games this year.
Maybe we'll broadcast live from there one night. We'll do a show from there.
Yes. And I had mentioned to you about maybe head up North Jersey, go check out some games. I like Del Barton, Bergen Catholic in the high school. I'm a big CBA fan. My nephew went to CBA. You talked about Quinnipiac. Connor Clifton went to Quinnipiac, who's on Boston. Oh, is he on Boston?
No, he's on Pittsburgh now, I think.
Started out with Boston. I get, because the yellow jerseys kind of screw me up. But Pittsburgh kid, now he's, he played for CBA and big defenseman, good defenseman, and played with Quinnipiac, played with CBA also. I watched Connor play for a long time with Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who was another one that played at CBA, who's in the NHL now, as you know. And a lot of good kids come out of CBA, and a lot of kids come out of Del Barton,
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure you know a lot about, Del Barton being up that way. I don't really get to go to too many Del Barton games. I did see them up at the Rock. I think that was the same year that I saw Johnny Gaudreau, Del Barton. I think I went to two separate years because my nephew was playing, and CBA was definitely a high up on the list of teams that always made it to the state finals, and up at the Rock, and then they played at the that other rink the South Mountain. I think it was South Mountain.
You play the semifinals in the sectional finals in South Mountain, and then the finals at the Rock. We have a lot of friends in Del Barton. We have a lot of friends in CBA. A good friend of mine is helping out with the program. Gary Biggs helps Andy Goalie, the coach out at CBA. We've had, like I said, some close friends who played there, still friends who play. And same with Del Barton. So yeah. And Bergen Catholic, I told you, is playing Westfield High School. They're opening the season December 3rd at Warrenenko. So I'll be there, if you want to come up and check it out. So
yes, 100%. Yeah, we're getting kind of close to the end of the show here. It's about 8:59 here in the East.
Yeah, this way we can go watch the third period of the Rangers game. Hopefully they won't blow it. But,
yes, 100%, man. We gotta hope for a win. Every win is makes a difference this time.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Even though it's kind of towards the beginning of the season, you want to get those W's, as many W's as you can, and hopefully the Rangers will move up and we'll be contending with those damn Devils.
Absolutely. So, listen, it was a great show as always, Looch. Let's keep it going. We'll see everybody here next Wednesday night, right?
Thanks, guys, and check us out. Jeff, good night.
Thanks, everybody. Good talking to you, Looch. We'll talk, again, we'll see you next Wednesday. We'll talk during the week. All right, brother?
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody.